Hi, guys. Welcome to Bar Exam. I'm your host, Allie Rayner, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co hosts, Mr. Marcus TV and Eric G. Say hi, guys.
What
What's
up?
up,
What
y'all?
up?
Now, this week is very special because we wanted to do something a little bit different, and we wanted to come before the bar and present to you guys the songs that we feel that really represent the East Coast. So it really just depends on what you consider the East Coast, I guess. But I think that when you first think about it, you think probably like New York, Chicago. There's a bunch in there. Cleveland, Boston. There's a bunch in there. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what our host decided to pick for this week. So going first, Eric, do you want to start it off for us with your pick?
Yeah, I mean, started off proper. I gotta go with Mob Deep, um, Shook Ones Part Two, and that's just to me that is quintessential East Coast music. The second you hear that snare come in, and then just like the beat come in, and then before they even start rapping, just the way that they're talking, like yo, what up, yo, word up, son, like you just feel that energy like immediately. And then they just like start talking their shit a little bit before the beat even like gets rocking, then the beat gets rocking, and the next thing you know, your head is doing the full just like you doing that before they even start rapping. And then when they start rapping, it's like this is one of the reasons why I fell in love with hip hop, to be honest with you. Like hearing a song like this, it's one of the reasons why, like, beat pattern, flow pattern, like all of that like goes perfectly together. I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us, the real official Queensbridge murderers. The mob comes equipped for warfare. Beware my crime family who got the no shots to share for all those who want to profile and pose, rock you in your face, stab you with the brain in your nose. You all alone in the streets, cousin. Every man for himself in this land we be gunning. Like the way that he's just like kicking that shit, and uh the way that like he just like continues to basically keep it going for like at least like a good like 32, 48 bars. Like I just love the way he goes in on that shit. um and for real, to me, like it's so hard to pinpoint like a perfect East Coast sound, because like there's so many variations on where you can go with it. But to me, when you hear a song like this, it like gives you that like, oh, it's like cold outside, like like you can see your breath when you breathe and all that type of shit. Like it gives you that type of feeling, like putting on like the heavy coat with like the fur on it and all that type of shit, wearing the Timbs, like everything, like all of that shit, like it, that whole song just gives you that vibe. And to me, this is again the perfect representation of what the East Coast brings.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really love how you started off with how they talk about like how they're talking shit at the beginning of the song, because I think that you made me just realize that like so many songs that I love that are like from New York or just from the East Coast in general, they start off with like it kind of sounds like everybody's in a cipher and they're talking shit and they're playing around and then they just go in on it. So that's very much East Coast. I think you're totally right. And then I mean, how could you not say son or B or something like that, cousin, like, all in your rap if you're from New York. So I also love that you decide, you highlighted those parts as well because, obviously there's the harsh parts of the song, the mean streets kind of a thing. But I love those key elements that are fun and like definitely characteristic, of East Coast style for sure, for sure. Marcus, what did you think?
Now I think the same thing because every time you talk about an East Coast artist and they give you that New York feel, you automatically start talking New York. You automatically start
Yep.
being what up, B. You know, this son, dead ass. You just automatically start, and you wasn't even talking like that before you heard the song. You didn't have any of that going on. Now all of a sudden, you know, everything is yeah, son. You know, I'm outside, son. You know, when you feel that good New York ride, it's kind of like yelling Brooklyn. I ain't never even fucking been to Brooklyn. But everybody yell out the fuck Brooklyn. You know,
Right. For real. So I really like that pick.
Same thing.
Yeah.
What up, B?
Done.
We all look very New York too right now with these hoodies and stuff. And you know, I like it. I like the vibe. I've told y'all before, I love me a New York vibe. So hell yeah. Yeah, put that hood on.
Dead ass. It's cold outside, son. It's cold. You gotta cover your ears. Your ears ain't cold. If your ears ain't cold, you ain't fucking New York. You ain't right to like. Stupid shit they say, man.
So true. So true. But okay, so Marcus, do you want to go next then?
So this is a New York classic. And the verse, it's actually a remix, but the verses was cool. And the verse had Allie, your favorite, had Nicki on it. But it's Plain Jane, ASAP Ferg. And, you know, at this time, you didn't know how many ASAPs there was because there was ASAP Rocky, ASAP Ferg, ASAP. It was a whole lot of them motherfuckers in the ASAP clique. Excuse me. But the chorus is what got me. It was Ride with the Mob, Hamdulillah. After that, I was a fan. After that, I didn't have to check in with me and do your job, Ferg. All of that didn't matter. But when he said Hamdulillah, first of all, we put the lyrics up on the screen. Nobody in their phone right now could have spelled Hamdulillah. Niggas was like, this my shit. And you didn't know how to spell Hamdulillah. No, Google couldn't help you. Siri couldn't. You didn't know what the fuck how to spell Hamdulillah. Nobody knew how to spell that shit. But you yelled that shit out in the club religiously. Like that was your shit. When they said everybody was Muslim in the club that day. Everybody was Hamdulillah in the club. And then when Nicki got on it, you know, she put the flair on it. But what I didn't know from this is that Juicy J got paid off of this. And I didn't know that. That like he got like from the bar in the interview, he got paid off of this song. And I was like, that's wild because it was his tone and cadence.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He at least he claimed, he said in an interview, whether you know.
Oh, I fully believe that. That's right around the time when people to harken back to one of our previous episodes, that is when a lot of people started doing a lot of 3/6 samples, like right around that time. So I fully believe that Juicy J got paid off that 100%.
Yeah, I did not know that, but now that I think about it, I remember like being in the club and they would sometimes like mix Juicy with this song and like something else, you know, and I was like,
yep, throw Slob on my knob right over that, and it's the same song.
Yeah, it's the same song.
Yeah,
it's the same sample. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. Totally.
And he said he never gave up the rights to it, so you know he got paid off of this because they sampled it with his permission.
Got you. Wow. So, good for Juicy then. Shit. Shout out my nigga Juicy.
Shout out my nigga
Juicy. Shout out my nigga Juicy. I ain't even mad at you. But I really love that you picked this song. I also thought the same thing when I first heard about the whole ASAP crew. I was like, how many niggas is in ASAP? I had to look it up and I didn't realize like it's a real thing, real group, like real culture. And then I don't know if there's some street shit in there or whatever. Not my business, but definitely they come from the streets of New York. So I always thought that was really dope and that they were always representing and, you know, that they kept their names even when they became their own artists and stuff. So I thought that was really dope. And then, like you said, like I realized, you know, when Nicki jumped on this, I realized like there was something legit. I think we all had kind of already known about ASAP Rocky, but we maybe didn't know that much about ASAP Ferg. And I feel like this was one of those that really like got him in the door, and like the rest of the ASAP crew definitely became more prominent. And yeah, so I'm glad that you picked this one. This is definitely New York. I feel like anything that comes from ASAP, the crew, from Ferg, Rocky, is definitely going to be New York all the way. Definitely East Coast, for sure.
Yeah, they were kind of a new wave of Dipset in a way
I
because
never thought of it that way.
you had the flashy fly nigga in the crew, you had the dude that could rap, and then you had a wave of other guys in the group that all were special at doing their own separate things. So whether it was 12 who also was pretty good at rapping that took over the underground scene, whether it was ASAP Nast who was like on the fashion tip more with it, or whether it was Addy who kind of took over the East Coast underground scene that was like on the trappier wave. Like you all, like everybody had their role as far as like where ASAP stood.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is interesting now that even that we're talking about ASAP is that it looks like ASAP is geared up again.
Hmm.
Um, from what I've been seeing, it looks like he's going to drop pretty soon. And I'm curious to see what people are checking ASAP for nowadays because it's 2023. And we haven't really heard a lot of ASAP Rocky music since probably like 2017. And the last time he came out, it wasn't received well at all. So I'm
Yeah,
very curious to see what the reception is going to be for Rocky now.
Mm.
yeah. I think because he is such a experimental artist in certain ways, I think that's what is great about him. And also, but also it's kind of like the downfall because some people might just not get it, might not feel it, because that's where he's at, you know, in his artistic journey. So I think you're right. I wonder if he's going to do something very similar to the last song that he put out. I think it was the song with him and Rihanna basically getting married, and the video was dope. I wasn't really crazy myself about the song. I kind of understood where he was trying to go with it. I just feel like it didn't give me like just like enough. So yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see what either one of them drop, but definitely ASAP if he's gonna go back to something a little bit more like edgier, more street, more rap. So but we'll see. Maybe he's not even in that space. Yeah. But very good pick. I definitely like this pick for sure. I love that we all ended up kind of gravitating towards New York. I think that you just end up doing that, because it's more of like the iconic East Coast when you think of it. So I picked a New York song as well. Basically, I picked "Get Money" by Junior Mafia. It has Lil Kim in it and Biggie in it, and I just loved it because this was the song that really made me realize like who the fuck Lil Kim was. Like I think when I was growing up, around the 2000s and stuff like that, she was already like this big iconic. It was her own thing, but she wasn't as edgy and as street. She wasn't straight from New York, from the streets of New York at the time. She was a little bit more Hollywood. She was a little bit more polished, different. She was like at one point like Dancing with the Stars or something. You know what I mean? Like, so she had definitely changed, and even now she's super different. So this song, I listened to and I realized, like, damn, so that's why Biggie loved her so much, or like that's why he fucked with her so much and wanted her to like start rapping and shit. So I got it. I felt like this is like one of those songs that I think of immediately as like they represent New York iconically by themselves. Lil Kim does, Biggie obviously does. I mean, I feel like how can you put a list out there without having Biggie on it about New York or the East Coast? Like you just can't do it. So I definitely had to pick this song, Junior Mafia. And I loved it because, like I said, they're edgy, they're raw with it, but it's fun. So like I love Biggie's first verse, and he goes, "You sipping mo on my living room floor, play Nintendo with Caesar Leo, pick up my phone, say Papa not home, sex all night, mad head in the moan, spin my beats, smoke all my weed, tattoo on TT saying BIG. Now check it. You wanna be my main squeeze, baby? Don't you? You wanna give me what I need, baby?" So like this was one of the first songs that I was like, I have to learn the fucking lyrics. Like I didn't care if anybody else gave a fuck about it. Like this was one of those songs that I had to definitely dive into and like it, instill in my brain. And like that's why I even messed up because I'm like reading off like the clean lyrics and I'm like, that's not what the fuck he says. So I had to
Right.
like mentally go back and be like, no. But yeah, so that's what I picked. I don't know how you guys feel about it. What did you guys think?
Man, that's that song that you like first learn how to do a mean two-step in the club too. Just because off the way that like the snaps going, all that shit, like you just
Yeah.
that's where you learn how to do a mean two-step.
Get money.
So you remember when Little Kim came out with that poster and her legs was open and the
Yeah.
monkey song? Like that's what got Little Kim. I had that poster, so like when this song came, like it was just all together. So I keep listening to Little Kim in the hot, like who is that? Who on the wall? You know, my mom was mad and shit. It was like you can't bring that into the house, and like just to
Especially if she
see,
heard the verse. I'm sure she felt some way.
yeah, she didn't even hear the verse. She saw the picture.
That was enough.
So that was a, and now just think of that moment, right? And then let's go fast forward all the way to 20. That WAP was
Yeah.
mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all worried about the wrong thing. It is not worship and praise. It's not wings
But
and
I
peace.
love it. Like I think it's so iconic where like my favorite line from her in this song is rather count a million while you eat my pussy, push me to the limit, get my feelings in it, get me open while I'm coming down your throat, and you want to be my main squeeze, nigga, don't you? You want to look between my knees, nigga, don't you want to see me whipping your three down the ab, blow up spots on bitches because I'm mad. Like I love that verse because it was like different, it was raunchy, it was edgy, but she always kind of I felt like she always came from this place of like the guys can say it, the guys can do
Right.
whatever the fuck they want and talk greasy or whatever, so why can't I do it, and I feel like what an amazing goal. You'd rather be counting a million while he's eating the box. Like that's top tier, you know what I mean? So I felt like she wasn't like, saying something like, niggas are just using me, you know what I mean? She's like, nigga, I got my own money and you gon', so that's another reason why I love this song.
Bars
Sorry,
of
I
the
went
month.
off on a tangent.
Insert Cardi B, Nicki Minaj,
For sure, Nikki.
any other
She'll even say it herself.
any other popular female right now that you could think of. Insert them
Yeah.
saying that, and it would be totally acceptable right now.
Absolutely. I mean, there's I think of other artists like Malibu Mitch, like her voice, like she makes it so deep when she's rapping and shit. I'd be thinking like, are you trying to be Kim like back in the day, like that edgy, like trying to give yourself a little bit more like roughness. But I kind of like it. I'd be like, yeah, okay, all right. And I think she's New York too. So like, yeah, a lot of people have their own type of influence with her. Maybe it's not necessarily her style, like I feel like Nicki stole like the whole like look of being like, raunchy, doing something wild. Cardi, like Marcus was saying, stole kind of like talking about it and being about it,
We gotta
so
also put an honorable
she's
mention.
definitely the blueprint.
We got to put a New York honorable mention in there. Even though
Okay.
they only had one song, you got to put Young M.A. in this mix too.
That's a
Okay.
fact.
Because Young M.A. is iconic in New York. So yeah, from
I
the
agree.
interview to the swag you got to put Young M.A. in there. Even though it's only one hit, one song, you still got to put it in there as an artist.
All right, I think that's why I'm surprised that you put her on there, because it is like, I mean, she has other songs, don't get me wrong, like
Because
there's other songs that I definitely like, but that one, you're right, is iconic. And so you feel like when you hear that, you feel like New York vibes,
yeah,
New
she
York
has
flavor.
one song, but she got 1,000 bars. Like she
Yeah.
does it. Like bars are undeniable, but hit wise, like she's. This is gonna sound a fucked up comparisons, but she's Twister before Slow Jams and Jamie Foxx. You were known.
Really?
Yeah, everybody knew Twister from Do or Die, Poe Pimpin', but Twister wasn't mainstream. Not before Slow Jams.
Oh, okay.
Jamie put Twister on mainstream, but Twister was known in the end. But if you say name a Twister song, can't do it.
Okay.
Interesting. I haven't thought about it like that before.
Yeah, but always had bars, was always respected in the game, always was a dope feature, always wanted to hear what was next. Yeah, but
True.
mainstream wise, no.
All right, I feel that. Eric, do you have any honorable mentions?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. We're gonna keep in New York. I hate that we're gonna keep in New York because, but it's just the vibe that I was on, and for me, I would pick the first song that I probably didn't understand, and for me, it was Nas "I Gave You Power"
Okay.
because
Mm.
the first time I heard that song, I was a youngin'. So I didn't no pun intended, I didn't understand the power of that song.
Mm,
So it wasn't until way later on that I really like got to dive into the lyrics and really understand what that song was talking about. And just the way that somebody of that age is able to break down a metaphorical song throughout the entire flow of the whole song was just it was something gravitated to because I had never heard anything like that before.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So I don't even like I can go to a few specific bars on this song that really took me. So the a few of the ones that took me is my body is cold steel for real. I was made to kill. That's why they keep me concealed. Very like if you don't know what he's talking about, that could be very surface level. But if you know what he's talking about, then that's when it really breaks down and you really understand what he's talking about. And then the other one that really stuck to me was the one was this is all first verse too. Was when he says 17 precisely, one in my head. They call me Desert Eagle, semi-auto with lead. I'm 7 inches, 4 pounds, been through so many towns. Ohio to Little Rock to Canarsie, living harshly. Like he's giving you what the description of what he is, and then he's telling you where he's been, giving you like the description of like the harsh lifestyle that he's living. But again, he's all talking about all this through a gun perspective.
Mm,
So I just again, when I really found out that that's what he was talking about, it it definitely stuck to me, and it was definitely something that I was like, wow, like this is just like a very profound record. And I don't know, to this day I don't know if anyone has really made a song coming from a perspective like that, maybe besides like somebody like Kendrick.
Mm.
yeah, you're
like
right. They're
like
definitely
just thinking
Yeah,
storytellers.
just
when you
thinking
put it
about
like that, I'm thinking too,
like just thinking about how a nigga conceptualizes his shit in songs. Like I can't think of a nigga who does that better than Kendrick.
Mm,
That's
very
just me
true.
personally.
Yeah. Does that also count for your story to tell the truth? Because I'm like, that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
definitely a good one for
yeah.
sure. I didn't even realize that one. You know, like there's so much so much stuff from Nas. Like there's so much, so many songs and content from Nas. So it's like it's hard to pinpoint and remember every single one. So I'm glad that you picked that one because I'm definitely gonna go back and be like, wait, let me look at these lyrics again for sure. I like the ones that you picked out too. So I really like that one. Good job, Eric, for real. Um, I guess for my honorable mention, really quick, I guess it has to be for me, it was really, 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 really hard to pick. Like I felt like we could have talked about this for days and days and days. But really quick, I guess I will also mention I felt like when Pop Smoke came out, I felt like he definitely like made people want to be in New York again and want to get into drill again for sure. I want to say it was Welcome to the Party that made him hot, but it could have also been Dior. I'm not sure which one really like was the one that everybody decided to run with. But either one of those, I feel like you hear them or you hear if you even hear about Pop Smoke, you feel like it's all New York. You feel that vibe. So, and especially because his mentor was 50 Cent, that plays a big role in it as well. 50 Cent is also New York. So I felt like we had to mention him. Uh, can't mention East Coast without Jay-Z. Have to honorable mention Jay-Z, like anything that fucking Jay-Z does. I almost did Big Pimpin', but I was like, for some reason, I feel like that's more Miami, even though it's definitely New York. I don't know, it just gives me Miami vibes. And then just this one is just close to my heart. I wanted to pick Came Down by Al Fats because it's a Cleveland song, it's a Cleveland anthem, and only Cleveland niggas really know that song. But I feel like if you're gonna talk about the East Coast, I had to talk about my hometown. And so that's definitely one I feel like people have to go back and listen to. And if I had more time, I would definitely like break it all down for you. But anyway, those are my honorable mentions. And these were our picks that we felt like really represented the East Coast. Now we have to get into our other favorite segment called Swear to Tell the Whole Truth or Help You Lyric Gods. So basically, this one is all about us breaking down different meanings of songs or maybe lyrics that we didn't know what they were about back in the day, or maybe we just want to enlighten other people about. As you have already seen, Eric broke it down very, very well with his song. He really had a really good pick. So, Marcus, would you like to do the other one?
Yeah, I got Bobby Smurda.
Okay.
Like, this is so I was aware of the song with Bobby. And maybe this is not even a fair comparison, but I heard the song, Bobby had his little stint. Then Bobby did $1 million worth of game interview. And then I was like, let me go back and really, see why dude is considered to be cut from a different cloth. Like he was the last, he was not quoted, he was compared to like, it was because they went into something else talking about snitching, and they was like Bobby Smurda is the last one to go to jail. Like everybody else is telling, like it's no more Bobby Smurdas. And I was like, is Bobby the last real nigga out here? Like Bobby Smurda? Like I had to go back, and I was like, let me go back to hot nigga, and then Bobby was talking that shit. I mean, you go back to the lyrics, and first, and this is, I mean, I know we can't play the song, but when the beat comes on, just everybody with the it's the two step, it's the club, it's the whole, it's the vibe, and he's like y'all trying to make a motherfucking scene up in here. It's fucking Murder She Wrote. Like, I mean, come on. Angela Lansbury, Murder She Wrote. It's Murder She Wrote. Like, come on. Like, you right there. You just say you doing that New York shit, talking that gangster shit, and you like, what up? It's one of those times where you can be like, I fucks with this nigga and I don't even know. I don't know nothing about Bobby Smurda, but I fucks with Bobby Smurda. And Hot Nigga was one of them, and it was also in a time where like if you like youngins had a voice, but they didn't really have like a cause, like now it was like Kia Boys, drill music, it was, we didn't have a name for what Bobby Smurda was doing. It was just different. And it was something different out of New York. Now we would call it drill,
Yeah.
But at the time when it came out, it was like, oh no, he got that next New York wave and that next New York heat. And it was also before Snitch 9, so you got to give Bobby his props. So I didn't fuck with Bobby Smurda until after he came home, but Bobby Smurda is definitely one of the ones I'm like, New York, I fuck with Bobby Smurda.
I definitely fell in love with this song. Remember, everybody was doing the dance,
Yeah,
and that's why I'm surprised when he came out.
Throwing the
Yeah, when
hat
he
up.
came out,
yeah,
yeah, the hat that everybody was acting. Yeah, that was a meme, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
He
throw
took
it up and it
over.
like
He
doesn't
was
land.
Yes, and it was like so crazy because it was like I think he got locked up, around the time that it really blew the fuck up. So it was like he was a meme. His song was on the radio. He was everywhere. He was on your fucking Instagram and everywhere. And it was like he couldn't even, you know, bask in that glory. So it was kind of
And
weird.
he didn't
Did you?
snitch.
And he didn't. But get this. Did you guys see someone recently try to come for him? I want to say it was Funk Flex. I gotta look again. I gotta look it
Funk
up.
Flex
But
be coming at
recently,
everybody.
yeah. So that's why I was like, well, maybe he's just talking shit. You know what I mean? But basically, the other day, it was like a post that he put up, and he was saying that like oh, I don't, I'm not going to bar Snitch Nine anymore. He's like, because it looks like nobody cares that everyone's snitching. And so I thought he was talking about Gunna, right? And he didn't say Gunna, but he like, he was like, or these rappers be snitching on themselves. And then he like wrote a whole list of niggas who are locked up or were locked up. And Bobby was on the list. And I was like, oh, like we're going there with that. So I guess he felt as though like, because didn't they use that exact song to send him to jail?
I think they did use parts of his lyrics against him.
He did.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was
So
this song in particular, but I do know his lyrics were used against him in his case.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel like, I don't know, like do you have any comment on that? I just felt like it was kind of wild. Do you think it's just Funk Flex talking shit? Do you think there's anything really behind that?
Yes and no.
There was, because they were allegedly targeting him before that song even got popping. So
Oh, okay.
so whatever was gonna happen to him was gonna happen. I just think it probably got accelerated because of his fame at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you got to think he
I
was the hottest nigga in New York at the time.
He was. And I actually
This
was
was
just I was
before
just
Six
surprised.
Nine, before all that shit.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
bringing Rowdy Rebel up under him. Like they were the hottest niggas in New York.
for
And then that
sure.
shit happened, and then it was like somebody else had to kind of come and grab the wave, and then we got 6ix9ine and all the other shit. But we ended up getting real niggas out of that shit too. But a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of shit ended up happening because of Bobby and Roddy going away earlier.
Yeah, for sure. And I only mentioned it because I thought it was surprising because I felt like niggas like Marcus had said, I felt like everybody was feeling like we were proud of Bobby or like the hip hop community was proud of Bobby because he did hold it down and that he didn't snitch and he didn't like rope anybody else into his time and stuff. And so I guess like one of his friends got to go home early because of it and rather than the both of them be locked up around the same time. So I was just surprised, that someone out here felt a little bit, was like throwing shade at him. But I also feel like they just been trying to throw shade at Bobby from the moment he got out of jail. So maybe it just comes with the territory. Who knows? It's that New York culture, you know?
Mm,
Could be.
maybe, maybe.
Maybe. But I like your pick. I definitely like your pick, Marcus. For my pick, I decided to go with Shimmy Shimmy Yeah or Shimmy Shimmy Ya from Old Dirty Bastard.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
only because growing up, you hear the song and I felt like anytime I heard Old Dirty Bastard, I just as a kid got excited because he was always like the goofy rapper. He was always like the weird, like just different rapper. But I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And so growing up, I always just felt like this is a song I'm not really allowed to sing around my parents because I always assume like when he's singing about like, ooh baby, I like it raw, ooh baby, I like it raw. Like I always thought he was talking about sex, you know what I mean? But I recently went through the lyrics and I was like, oh no, he's talking about like he mentions it like obviously he's kind of playing with words and shit. He's doing kind of like a metaphor kind of a thing, but I love that he's really talking about his skills. He's really talking about his rap skills. So he's saying like, like you gotta be able to sing to fuck. So that's why he sings like, "Ooh, baby, I like it raw," because he's making a joke. But he's like, no, like you niggas really can't touch me in the booth. So where does he say? Where's my favorite one? Where he says, now chop that down, pass it all around. Lyrics get hard, quick cement to the ground. For any MC in any 52 states, I get psycho killer Norman Bates. My producer slam, my flow is like bam. Jump on stage and then I dip down. And then he goes like, "Ooh, baby, I like your raw." But so he's really talking about. I kept thinking that he was talking about sex, but he's not talking about sex at all. He's talking about how lit he is in the studio. So I was like, I like this song even more now. So that's why I picked Swear to Tell the Truth.
I got an alley moment. I thought he was talking about sex all this time too.
For real.
I didn't. Hey, I ain't know.
No.
Especially when she was like, "Oh, baby, I like it raw."
Yeah, I was like, oh baby, I like it raw.
Yeah, like, I think the only time he says anything about smashing somebody is like rain on your college ass disco dorm. I don't know. No, because that's actually him talking about, I think, shooting up somebody's dorm. So yeah, like I think the whole thing is about him just being, like
You said he was
I'm with the
shooting at
shits.
somebody's dorm.
Yeah,
Oh,
so he says Wu-Tang killer bees on a swarm, rain on your college ass disco dorm. For you to even touch my skill, you gotta go through one killer bee, and he aimed for the kill. So yeah.
oh, Dirty Bastard was the original Tyreek.
What? What?
Oh, Dirty Bastard was the original Tyreek.
I don't think Tariq was even running down.
Wow.
Tariq ain't got that type of, he ain't got that type of heart at
Yes, he
all.
do. Yes,
Not
he
that
do.
crazy though.
He in
Oh, dirty
college, right?
crazy as hell. Or was. So yeah, I love this song. So I definitely am so
That's a
happy that I
great
went
pick.
back. Right. I was so happy I went back to double check those lyrics. But speaking of lyrics, Eric is going to lead us off in our Finish That Rhyme segment. So basically, Eric is going to kick us some lyrics, and hopefully, me and Marcus can team up together and figure out how to finish that rhyme. So we'll see what this week has in store for us. Eric, do you want to do the honors?
I know he going to New York too. I know he going.
I hope you do.
I know he gonna go to New York, man.
Man, what do you think? Okay. I've got the Rat Patrol on the Gap Patrol. Foes that want to make sure my casket's closed. Rap critics that want to say he's money cash hoes. I'm from the hood, stupid. What type of facts are those? If you grew up in the hood, if you grew up with holes in your zapper doughs, you celebrate the minute you was having dough. I'm like, fuck critics, you can kiss my whole asshole. If you don't like my lyrics, you can press fast forward. Got beef with radio. If I don't play their show, they don't play my hits. Well, I don't give a shit. So
It's a Kanye song. I can't. It's Kanye because I thought it was Jay at first.
it
But
is you.
hold on.
It is Jay.
Oh,
Right.
See, I went Kanye because I was like, it's not Jay.
right. I swear I thought it was.
At the end, you when you said the rap that can't control me, I was like, oh no, that's not Kanye. That's not Jay. That's Kanye.
Because it kind of sounds like it could be a Kanye verse, don't it? Now that
It
now that
does.
now that you say that, it does. Okay. All right. Now
But the
I'm
rap
back
again,
again.
it's around that era. It's around that era when Kanye first came around. But it's also around the era when we thought that Jay-Z was first about to leave.
See,
This was on the album that was supposed to be Jay-Z's last album. There's a famous little refrain that goes right before he even raps this verse.
This is why beats are important.
It is so
Because
important.
once you say it and I hear the beat, I'm like, oh.
All right, here I'm gonna do this, and then you guys are gonna be like, oh shit, okay, I know it. Okay. If you have a girl, problems out for bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I've got the Rap Patrol on the Gap Patrol. Foes that want to make sure my casket's closed. Rap critics that say he's one he cash hoes. I'm from the hood, stupid. What type of facts are those?
Yeah. See, that solved it right there. See, you got you.
Damn, I gotta go back and relearn
But see,
that.
if I
How
would
do
have
I
put
not know
that
those
first
lyrics?
refrain,
Yeah.
it would have been way too obvious.
But I can hear it too because I remember that little sound effect right before.
Yep.
Like it literally triggered everything like right before.
Yeah, because that's when the beat drops.
Yeah.
That's literally when the song starts. As soon as he says that little part, and then the little DJ part kicks in, and then it's like bam, beat knocking, and then we off.
Yeah, very good song. I like that pick. Dang, I can't believe we didn't get it. Damn.
But just to be honest, just to keep, I'm not the I'm a Jay-Z fan. I'm not a Jay-Z connoisseur because it's niggas out there that know Jay-Z and Jordan's like better than they know they fucking family tree.
Bro.
That's what
Bro,
niggas
some
know.
niggas, I used to know niggas who would like fight you about like what was his best album and shit and would want to
Yeah.
really, really get down about it. I was like, nigga, you can have it. Like, Blueprint it is. Let me calm down.
Take Jay-Z the artist. Let me phrase. Take Jay-Z the businessman away from this debate. And who can go album to album with him? Album with him, I think is only Lil Wayne. Not when bar for bar, like bar, and not Jay-Z the businessman talking billionaire shit. That Lil Wayne ain't. I'm talking about bar for bar. I think it gives it's tough. It's debatable.
What do you think, Eric? Do you think
Say
that's
that
true?
for another show.
Bar for bar,
right? Like that's.
But minus the business. Like, of course, we're gonna put Jay-Z above Lil Wayne in the bit. As overall.
Bar for bar, he might be right, but if we're talking strictly discography in rap music, I don't think any rap artist has a better discography than Kanye West.
Really?
And this is why I say that. Give me a second. Let me think real quick. Yeah, okay. His first 3 albums are flawless. What rap artist can you name whose first 3 rap albums are flawless?
I'm trying to think of all 3. I can only remember 2. What's the first?
College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation. That is a perfect trinity.
Hold on, what was the second one?
Graduation. Oh, well, you said the second one, Late Registration.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I forgot all about.
Which a lot of people, and again, people flip flop between all 3 of those Kanye albums between which one they say is the best.
Yes, but I think people also, man, we could talk about this forever.
So yeah, we can get on this one for a while, but
yeah, because I like 808.
We might need to circle the block.
That goes this as well.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I see where you're going, and I'm like, damn, that's actually a really good point. But either way, I hope that you guys really enjoy this episode. I feel like we all enjoyed this episode. We definitely, I think, did our thing with representing the East Coast. Definitely New York. New York is basically this whole episode. But how can you blame us? Like, so many iconic rappers, so many iconic songs and albums. So I hope you guys really love this episode as much as we do. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to be here every Monday, new episodes. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. This is Bar Exam.